Like, yeah, the technology is so much more accessible now, and so that opens the doors for like so much creativity and collaboration and just things you would never picture people doing. But yeah, with the same breath, it's like it could be a little bit saturating for sure, and just a lot of noise.
Yeah, and you don't
It's
want
like,
to feel like you're selling something either because like our music is so from the heart and so genuine. Like I think what's so special about I mean we both make music separately, but I think what's so special about what we do is like it's even more potent when we do it together because it's like both of our creativity and it's like I don't know, this like magical feeling I guess is I can't think of the right word of just like feeling like oh someone else is feeling what I'm feeling too.
Today on the show, we are joined with producer MKSTN and fellow songwriter Avery Florence. Together, they are a group titled Flostate that just released a brand new album a few weeks ago titled Moments of Feeling. This conversation was recorded right before it's released a few weeks ago after I got a sneak peek at this brand new album, and what can I say, it's such a unique and amazing vibe, and it's really hard to compare it to anything, which I believe makes it so special and something you should definitely check out. Also, as we jump into this episode, it may seem like we skipped ahead a bit in a conversation, and that's just because we had a little bit of tech issues with getting a stable internet connection. And actually, it's kind of for cool reasons. Avery right now is out in BC protecting a forest, and I think even like a week or two ago, I saw on her Instagram that the motherfucking police jumped in on that and started arresting everybody, and she had her Instagram story like asking the cops why they were getting arrested and they weren't giving her an answer, but she seems fine now. But long story short, Avery, you are a badass bitch and we appreciate you. Keep fighting for the environment. That's so awesome. And even to get you up to speed in this conversation, basically the cutout part was I asked them how they met. And I was so curious about that because this album just has a big, epic sound to it. And like I mentioned, I can't compare it to anybody. And I was expecting Flow State to be more than two people. And I think it's so crazy, just the two of them can make a big sound like that. And basically they mentioned they met in college and just really, really vibed out. I think that's a special theme throughout this interview and something I even think about too as a person who collabs with other people on creative projects. Sometimes you just meet somebody and there's unspoken chemistry or magic to what you do, and the only way to make that happen is to collab with that person and embrace its uniqueness. And you can choose to listen to that intuition and go with the flow and see what happens. And that's what they did, and I believe they made something very special with the new one, Moments of Feeling. So you definitely got to check that out. And with that being said, why don't you meet him right now? Well, Avery's back.
Yeah,
yay.
and I'm
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, you even did the
Okay.
test with the
Yeah.
wiggly arms.
It was fluid, like the
I'm very
Yeah.
connection.
thankful.
Yeah.
I'm in like a very kind of remote place right now. So it's the internet has been a whole thing. It's so lovely to be somewhere where it's hard to access internet, but then also with releasing an album, it can be
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
not
the
the best.
pros and cons. Like, where
Mm.
are you right now?
I'm in a small community in BC,
Cool,
and
cool.
yeah, it's really beautiful. I'm
Nice.
actually part of a forest defending environmental protest.
Whoa, that's awesome.
Yeah,
And how long have you been out there?
it'll be 3 weeks on Sunday.
Okay, cool,
Yeah,
cool. You're originally from Toronto, right?
yeah,
Or
we're both from
okay.
Toronto.
Yeah, no, that's awesome that you went out there too. And like what kind of sparked the inspiration to go out there and be part of this?
Um, just I've always like cared about the environment. I think about it all the time. And then when I was out here last year visiting a friend, I just engaged with this community, and it's funny because like there's similarities of what we're talking about. Like we're very like kind of cultivating like what we're bringing in. We actually have something called a sacred fire, which has been burning straight like overnight for 3 weeks. And it's a portal into like another realm And it just reminds me of what we were talking about of like how things flow and like when you're open to them, um, you can like, yeah, start to feel it more and just bring more of that in.
That's dope. And
Yeah.
I noticed too, like the couple times I've been to BC, and as we're on the topic of like spacey energy stuff, I'm just gonna go down the rabbit hole. I don't care.
Yeah, do
But
it.
like I noticed like
You're gonna
there
be on the
is,
next album, on the next track. I mean,
yeah,
this is how we always start our sessions.
that's
Actually, though.
amazing. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, but I was just thinking, it's like every time I've taken a trek out to the West Coast too, it's such a drastic vibe in the air from Toronto. And
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know what I like better. I feel like in BC, like I felt a little more freeing, like if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know. It's hard
Totally.
to
There's people
put
living
into
a lot more, I think, alternative lifestyles, whereas I think that can add to it. Like where Toronto, it's a bit more hustle city, um, which I like too. Like I like the part of the hustle and the yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I feel like you can get inspiration from both sides and combine them into its own thing. And
Most definitely.
yeah.
What I found interesting too, like, I mean, compared to Toronto, was like when I was in BC, people would associate like themselves with like what they do, like a hobby or something, versus like when you ask somebody in Toronto, they'll be like, oh, they associate with what their job is.
Mm.
That was
Mm,
an interesting thing I noticed.
That is so
yeah,
true.
that is so true. And that's something that I've learned to switch, because I feel like living in Ontario my whole life, you're
Mhm.
programmed to be identified by whatever your job is. But there's been
Mhm.
countless times where I'm working in a situation where it's just to pay my bills, it's not what I would consider to be, I don't know, in tune with who I am in my heart and soul and
Yeah.
everything. And yeah, even to the point where it's just kind of like the way I project myself. I'm always just posting the podcast thing, where if you look at the money I get in from it, it is a hobby, but
I was
people think
literally
I
about to
do it like full
say,
time and everything. Like
yeah.
that's my job, which is
Yeah, I was literally about to say that's music. Music is is a career that costs you money. But like I think I would say it's my main career, even though it literally costs me money.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I wonder like
Also,
what's yeah, I don't know how we define career, I guess. 'Cause it's like, yeah, where are you putting most of your time?
yeah, definitely. I also feel like this generation too of putting out art, there's like so many pros and cons to where it's like it's so easy to get it out there. And also even like you can probably tell, like as a music producer too, like throughout the times change with technology, now you can do it in your bedroom and make things. But also there's so many other people putting stuff out into the web, and like the different avenues to put it out. Like you're trying to like get as much people to listen to it as possible, but there's also like 500 new apps and TikToks and
Yeah.
No way. No
Twitter and
way.
SoundCloud, like where it's almost like overwhelming in a
Yeah,
way. Yeah, there's like it's like a double-edged sword type thing going on.
definitely.
Yeah, that's so true. That is so true. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, the technology is so much more accessible now. And so that opens the doors for like so much creativity and collaboration and just things you would never picture, people doing.
Mhm.
But yeah, with the same breath, it's like, it could be a little bit saturating for sure. And just a lot of noise.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and you don't
And
want to feel like you don't want to feel like you're selling something either because like our music is so from the heart and so genuine. Like I think what's so special about I mean we both make music separately, but I think what's so special about what we do is like it's even more potent when we do it together because it's like both of our creativity and it's like I don't know, this like magical feeling I guess is I can't think of the right word of just like feeling like oh someone else is feeling what I'm feeling too. And like we're
mm,
creating something, we're creating this whole new thing together. And it's like, is this really happening in feeling?
oh, that's
Moment.
so nice.
Yeah.
It kind of relates to like the name of your group too, the flow state. It seems like you just fall into that. And do you
Mhm.
guys have like a set process, like when you do meet up and and start to make music, or does it start off with like a conversation and then next thing you know you're tinkering with or sounds, and or does it like start with lyrics, or how does it really go?
Yeah, I mean, like each time is different, but like generally it's like we'll get together and we'll just talk about life. We'll talk about things that are going on in the world, talk about you know, how we're feeling, things we've experienced, and then we'll just like it just like slowly transitions into like
Mhm.
someone picking up like, you know, a guitar or someone grabbing a keyboard, and we'll just like tinker around, and then we'll just go down this like rabbit hole.
Yeah, it's fun. It's
Yeah.
fun.
That's so cool. And yeah, it seems like the end product of what you guys do, it turns into like this almost like psychedelic type experience, you know. And
Cool.
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, I would love to hear what you, because we haven't shown the album to anyone really yet. So I would love to hear what you felt about the album.
like that makes me feel really special. But yeah, I basically put it on as I was doing stuff around the house. So sorry if I forget like track names or whatever. And it
Oh, that's
almost
fine.
like it kind of just set like a really nice like relaxing tone for me, to the point where I wasn't paying attention to track switches. Like it was almost like one big piece in a way. And yeah, it was just
Yeah.
it was nice. And I think like in the press release it was like called dream pop or whatever, but it's really like you can try to put it into a box or whatever, but it's almost like its own unique thing. Would you guys agree?
Yeah, I think so. It's like, I mean, it's so funny when like people try to like ask me like, oh, what like genre is it? To be honest, I don't really know. It's like a combination of like a bunch of stuff. But it's definitely on the chill spectrum for sure.
Mm-hmm.
On the
Yeah.
chill spectrum. That's your
Yeah.
playlist on Spotify.
Yeah. Yeah.
Chill
Chill
spectrum.
spectrum. Somebody's got to make that now.
I'm gonna make
Yeah,
it.
please. Perfect. Do it. Put all of our music on
Yeah. So good. And that's interesting too, as you say like that, because I know some people who they make music but they're fans of different genres, whether it's like metal or hip hop or whatever, and before they even start writing they kind of are like, this is how it's gonna be, like this is the lane, it's gonna be thrash, or it's gonna be like New York style old school like gangster hip hop, like. And it's just like, but where you guys kind of like, I get the vibe you guys kind of got together and you're like, let's see what fucking happens, like
Pretty much. Yeah.
our
Yeah.
first session. Well, actually, we had a few like kind of minor sessions, like actually
Mhm.
at that college once, and then like once in Montreal. But then when we actually got together in Mike's studio, it was late. I think we got together at like 10 o'clock or something, started chatting, started drinking coffee, like
Mhm.
eating chocolate. And I think it was probably at like 1 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the morning when I was sort of starting to leave. And like that's when we started making our first song.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, which I still love. I don't know if Mike still loves it. I still want to record that song.
Yeah. I of course like love it. But you know, it's also interesting, like
He doesn't even remember what the first song
I
you
do, I do.
what is it?
But before I forget this thought, like I find that whenever we've planned to like, you know, make a song a certain way, we'll do it, but it never ends up being the actual song. It's always like we'll take a break and like let's just jam so we forget about the other thing, and then we're like, oh, this is the actual song.
Ah,
Yeah.
that's so interesting.
Yeah,
And
it's so weird. It's like the more you grab onto something, like it just floats away.
Mhm.
yeah, you know what's cool too, even beyond the music, I feel like you guys connecting together and having these pieces together, it's almost like these moments in time, like kind of like celebrating your friendship, like and immortalizing little like moments, and that you can have on the internet forever. And because it seems like it's like you guys have like a very special bond and communication, and then just to, I don't know, just build these pieces. And I don't even know what to say. It's more like a vibe and a feeling of each day you've recorded something, or and things like
That's
that.
cool that you picked that up because I would say that that is totally, yeah, right on. Like I've, I can only speak for myself, but like,
Mhm.
yeah, this is a special collaboration because I've done a few other collaborations, and it's rare to find someone that you so connect with on a personal level, on a creative level, because then you don't feel self-conscious and you don't have to compromise creatively, because like you shouldn't have to, or else you're not going to love it. And like that's how I feel about all of the music that we have made. um and like, yeah, I love listening to them and being like, oh, we wrote that like in the winter up at my cabin, or like, oh, we wrote that in a park, like on a bike ride,
Hmm.
like when we wanted to take a break. Or
Mhm.
so, yeah, so they're moments in time, and like moments of feelings that, like what I said before, of like, just it slips through your hands, like it, you can't, the more you try to hold on to it, the there it goes.
Mhm. And like you know, as we like sort of finished this album a little while ago, like I guess my hopes for the album was for other people to like listen to it and for them to like find their moments where they felt something or that's special to them. Um, and the visualizers we sort of have coming out is like a representation of that. So um, it might seem like kind of random, the visuals, but like it's more so just capturing these like very small moments that like you might not even realize until you think back at it.
Ah, yeah, that's really cool. And even like I watched the one for One More Day in Love, and it it was like, it seemed like random, but it had like this cool like rawness to it, you know? It's
Exactly.
again, it goes back to like, I feel like there's a lot of things I'm trying to explain in this interview, but it's more like a feeling. So it's just people like
Yeah.
gotta
We're
just like click
feelers.
on it. Yeah. We'll definitely be like be sharing like all this and stuff. But yeah, it's so cool to hear like the behind the scene layers of this too. And it's even talking to you guys are making me appreciate it even more, and which I appreciated the music in the first place too. So you guys got
Oh,
such a
thank you.
beautiful story together.
Thanks. That's so nice of
Thanks,
you to
Sean.
say.
Yeah.
Probably 1% has listened to the album.
Yeah. Yeah. And even yeah, it's kind of like I was reading like a bunch of stuff on your press release too, and it said about like themes that inspire to, I think it was worded with like persuade and to pursue. And is that kind of like a life philosophy you guys have, just to like explore?
I would say so, for sure.
Yeah.
Like that's what we're like, what else are you doing if you're not
Hmm.
exploring and grow? I think in order to grow, you have to explore, and you want to grow because you can't really remain stagnant. So if you do, you're going backwards. I don't know. I don't even know what I just said, but yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all good. Yeah.
Well, it's like, I think it's funny, like when when you're in a restaurant and you're like, what is everybody talking about? Like, I don't know what people are talking about, because I feel like all that I talk about is like life, every single day. And it's interesting every single day because you're talking to all these different people about it. And I mean, not that life is interesting every day, because we can get into like, the mundane stuff, but
Mhm.
when you do get into those life conversations, it's like, yeah, I don't know. I think it's funny that our whole lives we talk about life.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
It's almost like it's like the unsolvable mystery, but we're still like
Yeah,
ponder. And some people run away from these types of conversations too. Like they'll make a
It's true.
comment, they're just like, "Oh, you're going too deep," or "What did you smoke today?" or like stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I can't speak
good
for
stuff.
everybody, but I think people like, not all people, but there's a wide variety of people who fear digging in that part of their brain because it is like unanswered questions. And
Mhm.
I'm sure that to some certain people not like feeling not in control can drive them nuts, where I kind of like just talking about things that go
Yeah.
nowhere and like you can never figure it out.
Well, it's freeing to like go there, because it's
Yeah.
scary. It like gives you that feeling in your stomach, and you're just like, I don't know, I'm scared. But then like you go there, and then you reach this like freedom with it. And I think music is such, especially if you can't, because so many people like love music but don't create it. And I think like to be able to capture that feeling, because when I listen to the songs, I do get that feeling in my stomach.
Mm.
feel like, oh, almost trying to go over the edge of this feeling. And yeah, so I think when people hopefully listen to it, they can go through that and then come out the other side a bit, feeling a bit more free with it.
Yeah. I find too, like with those type of conversations, when I go deep like that, I always learn something about myself or others like that I haven't thought about. And like what you were mentioning with like kind of getting into that state while you're making music, I can imagine it's the same thing. Like if you're like trying to put together this piece and you step a bit out of your comfort zone and try something new, I'm sure you kind of get that same or similar feeling like in the pit of your stomach where it's just like,
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening, but it's like a weird like tingly feeling,
Yeah.
and you learn about like yourself or and things like that.
Totally.
Yeah, I think like, yeah, with our music too, like I we try to like make order of this like chaos sometimes. Like sometimes it's just there's just so much going on like when we're making it. Also, like we just listen to things on loop and like you just keep adding and like changing things, and to like sort of make order of it is almost like the way we have our conversations, you know, like we talk about all these like complex ideas or like these very abstract conceptual things, but like by the end of the conversation is like we're just trying to make order of it, much like our music, you know.
Yeah, that's cool. It's like you're just throwing out all these puzzle pieces and you don't know if it's
Yeah.
going to fit, and some do and some maybe get set aside for like another project and stuff like that. I talked to like all different types of artists on the show too, and I was one thing that comes up when I talk to different comedians about like writing process. Sometimes they'll have this one punchline and it doesn't fit or connect to anywhere, and it could be like a year later and they're writing something else, and then suddenly this piece flows into that piece, and then it's like, oh my god, I got this crazy bit, but it just takes time of just like
Totally.
almost just fucking around and messing with things to get the perfect thing. And do you guys ever feel like that way with your music? Because it seems like how you write is kind of sporadic in a way, like trying to
Yeah,
just
that well, first of all, I love comedies. Like I think
oh awesome.
comedians are genius. Like I think they're geniuses in disguise as jokes, but
I agree. I
um
agree.
yeah, but yeah, it is a lot like our music. Actually, Avery and I were just having this conversation the other day, and like we wrote this other song, and I mean, it's called Deja Vu, but we were like, we had this song just sitting there for a bit, and it was only till like years after where we're like, oh, this actually makes sense now. It's almost like you like at that time we weren't like ready to finish it, you know, you had to go through certain life things to in order to finish it,
Yeah.
you know,
I
much
feel that with
like
so many, I feel that with so many songs.
mhm.
Cool, cool. I even like the title Deja Vu too. That's something I've experienced a bunch of times in my life, and I realize not everybody has had a real deja vu experience, or they think they know what it is. It's like, or they say it's like, they'll say it's, oh, this is like a similar moment, but it's like, no, I've seen this moment before, and like you don't know if it's like in a dream or whatever,
Yeah.
and it's just interesting. And I haven't had it in a while, but I find when I have like spacey conversations like this, like it just starts coming back again. So now
Totally.
I'm a little spooked after this interview. I'm gonna be like, what is life?
Lean into it. Come on, lean into it.
Yeah, we're gonna start grabbing random like instruments and just pulling it.
Yeah. That's awesome. So around this album, I know you're out in BC right now. Do you guys plan on linking up again and like playing these songs live or anything like that?
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to be back end of June. So the second half of the summer, we're starting to perform. We're actually performing at our first music festival also in September.
Oh,
Uh,
cool.
yeah, it's like an eco art electronic festival.
Nice.
Yeah, I think we have the sunset set, so pretty excited.
Oh, hell
Yeah,
yeah.
he's ready. Yeah, I'm excited to play a lot of these songs out because you know when we made them, it was just like it's very intimate. It's just like just Avery and I. Um,
Mhm.
but to be able to share that very soon, it's going to be
Like a whole
very
other thing.
yeah, it's
Like
going to be
writing and
amazing.
performing are so different.
Yeah, I'm
It's
definitely
exciting.
interested to see how like you guys perform as well, because I listened to it, and like I mentioned at the beginning of the interview, it's a big sound, to the point where like, Avery, I know you sing, and now I'm picturing Michael with like a guitar and a keyboard here, and maybe like
Pretty much,
kicking like a drum, like the one man band.
pretty
Like,
much, yes, dude.
I have 6 hands that you can't see. It's just like on
yeah,
my rib
it's
cage.
like Goro from Mortal Kombat, the
Yeah.
Oh
other
my
arms coming out of
god. Yeah, pretty
man.
much.
Yeah,
It
that's
pretty much is that. I'm like, okay, Mike, you do your thing. I'm just gonna stand here and like blow in the wind.
that's a lovely job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but actually, not true.
No, it's a very collaborative, like such a collaborative like body of work, and like the way we make music is just, we don't really have like roles really. We just kind of like float around.
Yeah.
That's super cool. It
Sometimes it's
just
Mike singing.
yeah, and so like when you are playing this live, do you like prepare like some backing tracks or things like that, or like what is like kind of like the plan to dive in it like musically?
Mhm. Yeah, I think like we actually recorded like with a band, like some sort of rooftop performance. But generally, I think for these upcoming shows, it's just gonna be Avery and I, and most likely me on keyboard or guitar, and Avery on vocals, keyboard or guitar, and yeah, some backing tracks as well.
Mhm.
Um,
It'll depend the show too. Like
yeah, it
music
depends on the
will
show.
be like definitely bigger, but
Mhm.
also like it's nice to do. We've definitely thought about just doing shows like in a living room with like people lying down.
Just like a stripped back, like acoustic thing too.
Nice. I feel like that matches the music too, just chilling, you know? It's it sounds nice.
Invited, John. You're invited.
Yeah, awesome. I'll be there.
Cool.
And don't feel disrespected if I like fall asleep by accident, you know? It's just like you guys are just relaxing. So it's
That's what it's
Chill
meant for.
spectrum.
The
yeah.
chill spectrum.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially if it can bring you to that place like before sleep, but like after awake when you're like, that's when you can figure some shit out.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's so cool. And yeah, I'm definitely gonna check you guys out if you're playing in the area too, because I'm a new fan. I love it. I'm probably gonna like, I still got more work to do around the house. I'm gonna give it another spin as I like clean around and stuff.
Yeah, we'd love to
Yeah.
know your favorite.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, this time I'll be more conscious of the tracks, and I'll get back to you, like, or check like if I'm really catching a vibe on one, see what it's, peek over what it's called and everything. And yeah, so it is coming out next week on May 19th, and so it seems like you guys put a ton of work into this. How is it? How are you feeling about releasing it? Are you feeling great? Like finally, are you feeling a little nervous? Like, what's the vibe there?
I think, well, for me, it's just been like such a journey, and it's almost like a big relief, you know? And like for like what during the whole period of like creating this, I'm just like, oh man, like I really hope this music resonates with people, and like to finally see it like happening, and to see the finish line is quite rewarding. So I'm actually really excited for this to be released, and relieved.
Yeah, samesies.
Samesies.
Yeah.
Well
It's funny because
said.
actually I feel like we've been so focused now, our focus has turned from like creating it to just kind of all the steps to get it out. So yeah, it will be a relief because that's not the most fun stuff. But actually like thinking about, because I'm planning, since we're separate, we're planning sort of like separate listening parties. So I'm
Ooh.
actually gonna do like a little listening party at the protest, like really in the
Ah,
middle of the
nice.
bush. Yeah, and like the thought of it though, definitely gave me that nerve feeling of like, wait, I'm gonna be sharing this music with people like out loud while I'm there, and that did feel like it, but it's a good feeling. But it is like a little scary.
Yeah, I can imagine too, because it sounds like from hearing the backstory of how the music came to be, it is so personal, you know, and it's like just
And when you
kind
put it
of,
out there, people
yeah.
comment, like people will have something to say, and it could even be something nice, but sometimes even the lack of what they mention can like hurt your feelings.
Yeah, you're just kind of like overthinking the layers.
Yeah, you're like, oh,
What?
your voice is so beautiful. I'm like, but did you like this song? Like, is it,
Yeah.
you know?
What did you really mean by that? What was with the inflection in beautiful?
That, no, really though, is haunt you.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I can't imagine, but hey, it's exciting times, and it's part of the
Mhm.
process of what you guys do, and
that's the process.
I think it's awesome, and yeah, even though I know your focus is on this right now, releasing it, I can't wait to hear more in the future too, and hopefully we can keep in touch, and I'll have you guys on again because I've really enjoyed talking to you guys. It's
Yeah, you too. I feel like we've like
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
we go on a
likewise.
bike ride like later.
oh, you kind of cut out there. I
Oh,
missed
okay. It
it.
said, yeah, we should like all go for a bike ride later.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
hell yeah, hell yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay. Like, or not.
yeah. I didn't mean to snub you. I think we were laughing, and I heard later, but
Yeah.
but but yeah, definitely. Like, if you guys are in Toronto, I'm down. I need more fresh air. I do too much editing. Get me out of the house. And you guys are a great vibe as well. But yeah, also before we take off, is there anything else you want to say or mention or plug or?
Nothing really, just I guess I just want to say thanks to everybody that's like even helped us like kind of bring this to life, you know. Like the creative people that were involved, and like Lecker, and also like Indoor Recess and stuff, and of course you, like, thank you for interviewing us. We really appreciate it.
No problem, no problem. Anytime. It's like I mentioned, it's a good vibe, and I'm in good spirits right now. This is a really nice talk, and this is what I love doing about this show, like just connecting with people and just even just learning about their art too. It always inspires me in different ways, even though I do different things. So even though I'm sharing people's stuff, I selfishly get a lot out of these like great conversations. It's almost like a bit of fuel in why I keep wanting to do segments like this and stuff like that.
Selfish,
And,
you should do it.
Yeah.
You're good.
you cut out again a bit at the end there.
Oh, I said it's not selfish though.
Yeah.
I'm just coming from like this place of like we're having like sacred fires. It's not selfish to do things that make you feel good. You know,
That's I think that's
like we
a
should all be
strong,
moving forward.
yeah, that's a strong note. I think we should end on that and have people think about that as well too, because I see some people I don't know, like they feel bad for taking time for themselves sometimes, and I don't know if it's just like the way things are in North America or whatever. I know people in other countries where they seem like a little more bold about and less shy about taking care of themselves, where I find, like, I don't know, just the way things are set up with work wise and stuff, it's like almost like you can get too trapped in living for other people, but it's very important to take time for yourself, and it feels amazing.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. So once again, everybody, Moments of Feeling, May 19th, Flow
Yeah.
State. You guys are my new favorite people.
Happening.
Yeah, thanks for hanging with us today.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, cheers.
Hope you enjoyed that episode with Flow State. Such lovely people. I think we made some new friends on this one, which is always awesome. And like we mentioned, the album Moments of Feeling is out right now, and they've been releasing a bunch of visualizers that go with these tracks. So definitely also follow them on social media, and beyond following the Flow State account, follow them individually to see what else they got going on in the future. That's Avery, Florence, and MKSTN for Michael's account. And yeah, support some awesome people. I'm gonna go on a bike ride with them. And like always, before we go, I need to give a special thanks to all you legends on the Patreon. I mentioned on the last few episodes that I used to pay to produce this podcast, and now we're breaking even, baby. You guys are so awesome. But biggest thanks to our co-producer, Jeremy Hopkin of Hopkin Design, the Queen Ola Mazuka of Sonic Fold, Ryan Watkins of Ryan Radio, Amanda McKnight of Top 10 Nerd, Pat Maloney, Ryan Campbell, Devin Staple, Devin McBride, Ramshi, Mike Julio, Jenny Potter, Jared Pepper Bronstein, aka Mr. Spacey, new patron and former guest Saber. Thank you so much
Next time we link up, I'm going to bring you a Creative Imbalance t-shirt. And last but not least, Frances Coffer, aka my mom. If you'd like a shout out at the end of every episode, and also get these episodes extra early, right when I'm done the recording, you get sent the Zoom call, raw and uncut. And to also be a badass motherfucker who supports raw, uncensored media, you can go to patreon.com/The Creative Imbalance, and it's like $3 a month. I think they charge you extra in Canada, an extra $1 on that, probably like $4. I know it's all like American money on there, but yeah, and every cent goes back into what we do, and you get little incentives here and there. And my love and thanks forever, and I'll take a bullet for you, and etc., etc. With that being said, we got many awesome guests coming your way in the near future. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time. Peace.